I would like to welcome you to our monthly service of remembrance at John Knox Village. I am Reverend Dr. Bridget Sellinger. I'm the Director of Chaplain Spiritual Support here, and I welcome you to our time together. I would first off like to thank our productions team, Teddy and Thomas and Nick. I would also like to thank our organist, Mark Henschel, and resident relations, Joanne Avis and Sonia Reynolds, for all of their support and hard work in making this service of remembrance happen. At this time, I would like to introduce and invite Reverend Jamie Champion, our newest chaplain in spiritual support, to share in our opening words. Thank you.
Hello. I would like to welcome you to this honored tradition of remembrance, remembering those that we have known, those that we have loved, and those that we have lost here in this community. This is a time where we can come together and support one another during this difficult time, a time where we can grieve our losses and celebrate the time we had with those we cherished. On behalf of the Spiritual Life team here at John Knox, I would like to thank you for coming and being a part of this tradition. And we know that with loss comes pain, sadness, and discomfort. We hope this service helps you find comfort in your loss, relieves some of your pain, and helps you to remember the joy that you shared with someone very special to you. As long as we remember them, they will stay with us. Thank you. And now for our sacred readings. A reading from Charles Wesley titled, If Death My Friend and Me Divide. If death my friend and me divide, Thou dost not, Lord, my sorrow chide, or frown my tears to see. Restrained from passionate excess, Thou bidst me mourn in calm, distress from Thee that rest in Thee. I feel a strong immortal hope, which bears my mournful spirit up beneath its mountain load. Redeemed from death and grief and pain, I soon shall find my friend again within the arms of God. Pass a few fleeting moments more, and death blessings shall restore which death has snatched away. For me thou wilt to summon sins, and give me back my parted friend in that eternal day. In honor of our Christian friends today, the Old Testament Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This is the word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. We know and understand that life is a process. The process isn't really the means to an end. It should be really whatever motivates us, whatever creates meaning for us. There are people who come into our lives and give us gratitude just for being near them, and even more gratitude as their friend. Some of life may seem senseless. Some may seem full of meaning. However, when we share life with friends who walk with us, all and everything seems full of meaning and purpose. So it is with each of these people that we will share a memory of today. They gave us, their friends, meaning and purpose. They brought us laughter and kindness and gave our connections to them meaning. It is with deep admiration and thanks that we share a little bit of each one of them today. We've come to our time of sharing and remembering, And I would like to start with Harold Hal Aletto, who was born December 2nd, 1932, in Belleville, Illinois, to Edward and Margaret Aletto. Hal passed away at the age of 87 on August 29th, 2020. Now, he had previously lived in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Lighthouse Point before joining our John Knox family in November of 2017. Hal received his Bachelor of Science and his MBA from Northwestern University. He was a retired restaurant business owner, and he loved to golf, he loved to work a good crossword puzzle, and manage the stock market. He is survived by his daughter, Emerald Lisa, and son, Mark, his grandchildren, Michael, Anthony, and Roman. Hal's many friends here in our village give him a fond farewell, as he will be greatly missed. Hal Aletto, rest in peace. Thelma Misty Anderson. She was born March 22nd, 1929 in Dudley, Massachusetts, and she passed away on September 8th, 2020. She was 91 years old. She previously lived in Massachusetts and then Fort Lauderdale for 50 years before she joined our family here at John Knox Village in November of 2016. Misty was employed as a rental agent, and she worked with the Broward County Sheriff's Department for over 10 years until she retired in 2000. She belonged to the Elks in the American Legion, and she really enjoyed reading, traveling, listening to good music, and she enjoyed going to the movies. Misty was preceded in death by her brother Timothy. She is survived by her brother George and his wife Carolyn, daughter Gail, and her sons Michael and Gary. She is also survived by two granddaughters, Emily and Melissa, three great-grandchildren, Hunter, Jacob, and Gavin. Misty will truly be missed by family and friends, and may she rest in peace. Marilyn Bird Darling Payne was born August 5th, 1930, to Curtis and Ruth Bird, and she passed away on August 20th, 2020. She was 90 years old. Now, Marilyn was an educator before she retired, and she lived in Fort Lauderdale before she joined our family here at John Knox Village in January of 2005. She was preceded in death by her loving husband, Dr. S. Reed Payne. She survived by her daughters, Catherine, Laurel, and her granddaughter, Kristen. At the time of her passing, she was in the hearts of those that she loved the most and those who loved her. Marilyn will be dearly missed by her friends and her family alike, and may Marilyn Bird Darling Payne rest in peace. Carol Patricia Harper, she passed away September 6, 2020, at the age of 90. Carol was born in Port Chester, New York on December 29, 1929. She was born to William Edgar and Carol Dorsey, and she lived in New York for 62 years before she joined our John Knox Village family. She is survived by her brothers Brian Gittins Harper and his wife Ann, and Kenneth John Harper, her cousins Barbara Harper, Preston Harper, and her niece Patty Sweetman. Everyone, absolutely everyone, who knew Carol knew her as a loving and caring person, the friend to many, and she will greatly be missed. Carol Patricia Harper, may she rest in peace. Jack Huizinga was born September 28, 1939, to Wilson and Anna Huizinga in Holland, Michigan, and he passed away at the age of 79 on August 21st, 2020. Now, Mr. Huizinga and his partner, Donald, lived more than 28 years at the Point Condominiums in Eastport before they moved to the Fort Lauderdale area in 2004. They lived in London from 1995 till 2000, where he worked for the Voice of America before retiring. They joined our John Knox Village family in January of 2013. He was active in the St. Vincent de Paul organization at St. Mary's Catholic Church, and he enjoyed traveling, music, theater, and dining out. He was preceded in death by his partner of more than 50 years, Mr. Donald Edwin Brodus. Jack Huizinga, rest in peace. Nancy Lenora Johns, she was born on May 8, 1937 in Madison, Wisconsin, to Lenora and Raymond Johns. She passed away on August 30, 2020 at the age of 83. She was the oldest of 5 children. She graduated from the Oklahoma Women's College in 1967. She lived in Chicago and New Orleans before moving to southern Florida. Eventually, she joined our John Knox Village family and became good friends with Johnny Bonwitz. Together, they loved to travel, and their choice of travel was always a good cruise on Holland America. They were able to visit many countries, and they shared a great passion for exploring. Nancy was very much loved by all of her family, and she will truly be missed. Nancy Lenora Johns, rest in peace. Richard Payne Jones, originally from Vicksburg, Mississippi, passed away on September 5th at the age of 105. He was the consummate Southern gentleman, earnest and urbane. Mr. Jones was a distinguished media executive, a champion of the arts and music. He was a sportsman, a gardener, and a travel enthusiast. He spent his adult years in both New York and southern Florida. He was known to his friends and family as Dick, and he attended preparatory school at Woodbury Forest School in Orange, Virginia. His athletic endeavors at school centered around track, tennis, and golf, and he planned to matriculate to Princeton University. However, the Great Depression devastated all of the family's finances and ended his plans for a college education. He then went to work for DRC Advertising in St. Louis as a field service representative. Now, this was in their outdoor advertising division, and he was working on the Coca-Cola account. His life was upended again by the attack on Pearl Harbor, and then he spent just over 4 years in the U.S. Naval Reserves. In September of 1949, Dick was hired by Leo Burnett in Chicago to establish an outdoor advertising unit. Eventually, he became an account representative. Though achieving great success with DRC and Burnett, he aspired to move to a top agency in New York, which at the time was really the hub of the advertising business. In 1955, that aspiration was realized when he was asked to join the Walter Thompson Company. By 1958, he was named vice president, and in 1960, he was named the director of media. He became senior vice president and media director in 1972. He was recognized as one of the leading media executives in the advertising business. He served as a member of the Board of Governors of the International Radio and Television Society, chairman of the board of the Traffic Audit Bureau, president of the Media Directors Council, chairman of the magazine and newspaper committees of the 4 A's. Now, following his retirement, Mr. Jones shared time between his Long Island country home in Watermill and Key West, Florida. He shared his life for 48 years with his partner, Dominic Del Monte. In retirement, he continued to play golf and tennis, and this is where he was introduced and fell in love with classical music. After Dominic's death in 2002, Dick joined our family here at John Knox Village, where he lived for the last 17 years. Richard Payne Jones, rest in peace. Richard LaFrance was born July 24th, 1936, in Connecticut. He passed away September 7th, 2020, at the age of 84. He will definitely be remembered for producing and directing off-Broadway theater in New York City and in the Hamptons. He also wrote about life and its time while living with his husband in the Hamptons, and this can be viewed on Facebook. Richard lived in San Miguel de Allende, Mexico, as well as New York City and Fort Lauderdale. He and his partner of over 8 years joined the John Knox Family Village in March of 2017. He loved to cruise with Celebrity Cruise Lines, and he always loved to visit Sunset Key Cottages in Key West. His partner, Richard Fend, preceded him in death, and may Richard LaFrance rest in peace. Ruby Mae Shantz passed away on Tuesday, August 25, 2020, at the age of 89. She was born in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and she was the daughter of the late Howard and Nita Schuler Shantz. Ruby worked as a registered nurse for many years in Miami, Florida. She is survived by her nephew, David, and his wife, Catherine, her sister-in-law, Joyce, great-nephews and niece, Matthew, Nathan, and Megan, as well as their families. She was predeceased by her brother, Bird, and Ruby Mae Shantz will be missed by her family and friends here in our village. May she rest in peace. Joan Ruth Jody Snowberger. She passed away on September 8, 2020, at the age of 91. She was born in Goshen, Indiana, and spent the majority of her life here in the Pompano Beach area. She leaves behind her best friends, Hugh Root, Mary Butterfield, Dan Marquette, her children, Nancy, Stephen, and Thomas, her grandchildren, Valerie, Sarah, Michelle, and Scott, as well as great-grandchildren, Benjamin and William, and all of her loving friends and extended family that brought her the joy and happiness that she so experienced in life. Joan enjoyed all of her social gatherings, and she loved dining out with her family and friends. She cherished long walks along the Atlantic beach, strolls along the lakes, and tending the beautiful rose garden at her residence. She quietly savored life with all of her senses, all that she could taste and feel, see and hear. She made the very best of what she was given. Joan was a good Christian, and she will be dearly missed by all of us who knew her. Jody Snowberger, may she rest in peace. Jeanette R. Stagg passed away on Monday, August 3rd, 2020, at the age of 84. Jeanette was born June 29th, 1936, in Monroe, Louisiana. She is survived by her daughter, Jane, and Jeanette lived in Monroe, Cocoa Beach, and Maryland for 20 years before joining our family here at John Knox Village. She was a retired real estate broker, and she retired in 2000. She really enjoyed cooking and reading, and she will be truly missed by all of us who knew and loved her as a great person and a very good friend. Jeanette Stagg, rest in peace. Joan Rich was born in Wayne, Nebraska on November 17, 1940. She passed away on September 17th at the age of 79. She is survived by her 3 stepsons and several step-grandchildren. She worked and lived in New York City with her husband, William Rich, throughout the 1960s and 70s. She teamed up with Nyla Ahrens around the same time period, and they created their own women's consulting business. And what they were doing was offering the wives of husbands attending conventions in the city seminars that focused on current events, particularly around women's issues of the day. They later became life partners until Nyla's death in 2015. Joan and Nyla also owned stores in Darien, Connecticut, and Provincetown, Massachusetts. Joan was an avid reader. She was always up to date on current events. She also enjoyed the challenge of puzzles and card games, and she and Nyla became family here at John Knox Village in 2013. And she will always be remembered for her volunteering days in the Castle's Tower convenience store. Joan enjoyed socializing, and everyone agrees that she had a laugh that was truly infectious. Joan Rich, rest in peace. Sarah Ruth Rahm passed away on September 11th at the age of 101. She was born July 1st, 1919 in Uniontown, Pennsylvania. She was the second daughter to John and Georgia Smiley. She graduated with honors from Uniontown High School in 1937. Now, having grown up during the Great Depression, college was not an option for furthering her education. So, as an alternative, Ruth completed a business school program, and she became a professional certified secretary. This was her chosen career throughout her many working years. In 1939, Ruth married W. Curtis Rahm, and they set up housekeeping in Uniontown area, where they had 2 sons, Bradley and Barry. Now, after World War II, Kurt and Ruth then took their home to the small town of Hopwood, Pennsylvania. They increased their family there, being blessed with 2 more children, Douglas and Jeffrey. Kurt and Ruth decided to move to Fort Lauderdale in 1959 with their 2 youngest sons. The family began to attend Coral Ridge Presbyterian Church as charter members when the church was first organized in 1960. She became employed as the church secretary around 1965, shortly after the first church was constructed on Commercial Boulevard. In 1973, she became the personal secretary to Dr. D. James Kennedy, who was the founding pastor of Coral Ridge Presbyterian. She served in that position until her retirement in 1982 at the age of 63. But she continued working well after retirement to edit most of Dr. Kennedy's sermons for publication. During retirement, both Ruth and Kurt participated in many mission projects, including travel to Canada, Netherlands, Peru, and 4 trips to Chile. In 1997, Ruth and Kurt joined our family here at John Knox Village. During Ruth's 20-plus years here, she was the hostess of a weekly Bible study at her home. She also produced beautiful photo and document albums for each of her children, documenting their entire life segment events and those of their children. Ruth Rahm was called home to be with the Lord after a full life of dedicated service to God and family, and may she rest in peace. Betty Wasson passed away quietly on August 27, 2020, at the age of 98. She was born on April 25th, 1922, and she was the youngest of 3 children to Virginia and James W. DeLay of Akron, Ohio. Now, she graduated from Ravenna High School, and then she married Donald Wasson in 1947, and they began their married life in Hollywood, Florida. They were married for 61 years. Betty joined our family here at John Knox Village in 2011. Her career as a hairstylist kept her busy well into her 80s. She was an avid collector of antiques, including glass, salt, and pepper shakers. She was a longtime member of the Antique Glass, Salt, and Pepper Sugar Shaker Club, and she had a love for that group. She also had a love for smooth-haired terrier puppies, and she would attend dog shows with her dogs. Her last terrier was named BB, Betty's baby. Betty is survived by her 9 nephews and nieces, Judith, Sue, Kathy, Jerry, Anna Marie, Charles, Robert, Annette, and Virginia, and her countless friends whose lives that she has touched over the years. She will be deeply missed by all who were lucky enough to have had her in their lives. Betty Wasson, may she rest in peace. Our organist, Mark Henschel, will now offer our organ solo for your time of reflection. Our final poem comes from Debbie Gliori, and the title is No Matter What. The curious one asked, but what about when you're dead and gone? Would you love and miss me then? Does our friendship and love go on? The sage held the curious one close and tight as they looked out at the night, at the moon in the dark and the stars shining bright, and said, Curious one, look at the stars, how they shine and glow. Yet some of those stars died a long time ago. Still they shine in the evening skies. Love and friendship, like starlight, never dies. Now is our time to hear our names for preparation for departure. As each name is mentioned and the sound of the bell is heard, may your heart receive comfort.
Harold Hal Aledo.
Thelma Misty Anderson.
Marilyn Darling Payne.
Carol Patricia Harper.
Jack Wazinga.
Nancy Lenora Johns.
Richard LaFrance.
Richard Payne Jones.
Ruby Mae Shantz.
Joan Ruth Jody Snowberger.
Jeanette R. Stagg.
Joan Rich.
Sarah Ruth Rome.
Betty Wasson. We come to our close of this time together, and may you receive the closing words. May your memories kindle within your heart a fire that glows bright. May you feel their presence in hope that they continue to shine into your life. May you depart knowing that to know them was indeed a gift. May you find peace within your hearts. Thank you for your presence.